I've got my own webcam on. Whoops. Switch camera. There we go. Okay, we're on.
Hello everyone, this is razorflamekun, and today we're going to be doing easy to intense on Pokemon Puzzle Challenge. That means we're going to be going through and playing all 5 difficulties in a row without stopping. For my PB for this is 105.38. Most likely is I'm not going to reach that because that's actually an extremely good time. I haven't been able to beat it for quite a few months. And we're just going to go ahead and get started. In 3, 2, 1, go. So, this game is a match 3 in the genre of puzzle-y games. So, you match 3 and then you can make chains and combos, both of which you just saw there. And from there, you have to deplete your opponent's HP, which is on the left side of the portrait. Below your Pokemon, the HP is the yellow bar there. So, chains, combos are when you match more than 3. And this is a chain. There's no other way to explain a chain other than like a Puyo Puyo type chain. But even that doesn't really explain it because chains are different in Puyo Puyo. But that's generally the essence of the game, is you're just doing chains and combos to deplete your opponent's HP. And as you get through to the later difficulties, they get more HP, and it ends up taking longer to defeat them, etc., etc. Most of the early difficulties is just going to be me doing a long chain with some combos mixed in to defeat the opponent as quickly as possible. You're going to see I'm not going to be looking at the webcam much. That's because this game requires a pretty high amount of focus. That it is just not possible for me to look at webcam the entire time. Overall, each of the individual parts of this run, the last 2 are, or the last one is my current PB for intense. But in terms of time gain and loss, I'm not going to be having a lot of time gain or loss until the final difficulty. That's when you're going to start to, that's when things are going to. Well, you can't see my splits, but that's I can, and that's when the time gain and loss is going to start to become astronomical. Like, I can gain or lose up to a couple of minutes on every fight. And I'm just getting a lot of really fast fights for this first difficulty, which is really good. We're almost done with easy. Easy is just the first 8 stages, and then after that we have normal, which goes through 12 stages, and then the rest go through 13. That right there is was a 2-frame trick. That was a bit late to get that. I meant to get a 7 combo there, but I ended up getting a 2 chain there, which I did not want to get. But we're already on the last stage of the first difficulty. It's not going to be PB on this difficulty, but it's still going to be a pretty decent time for this difficulty. And that's that difficulty done. So as soon as the difficulty is done, we immediately reset. And we go straight into the next one. So now we're on normal. Enemies here have a lot more HP. It's going to start taking a 9 combo, a 9 chain to defeat these enemies in one. Actually, no, that's the next difficulty. This one I think is a 6 or 7 chain is what's required. And even then, that's still a lot for this difficulty. My normal PB is extraordinarily tight. It's currently like 6th place on the leaderboard at a 653, and there's just no chance of me being able to beat it at this point in time, because that's about 30 seconds of fight, which is actually quite difficult to do. Especially since I'm not completely warmed up yet either. But overall, this is just every time you go up in difficulty, the amount of chains and combos you have to do increases because the amount of HP your opponent has increases. And you want to be able to set up, setting up the chains and combos. That was actually not what I wanted to do, but that it just shows different ways you can set up chains and combos. Chains you can set up in so many different ways. It's just really interesting to watch what people can do at the higher difficulties. But as it stands right now, the current difficulty I'm playing at is one that I am able to play at without any problems because it's pretty easy. Easy is probably not the right word for most people, but it's just really easy. It's not until you get to the later difficulties like hard and then hard onwards is where you start to really get into this game. And hard is difficult for a different reason than the game actually being hard. And then the other two difficulties, intense and super hard, are difficult for their own reasons. Intense is difficult because it's just intense. Like you'll see what happens when we get there. There are chances that I'm actually probably not going to be able to talk very much during that difficulty because of how difficult that difficulty is. I am trying to do some tricky shenanigans with some of these chains, and it's not working out too well right now. But it should be fine because normal is just easy enough where all you need is like a 5 or 6 chain and a combo or 2, and then you're able to defeat the opponent very easily. In terms of your opponents, this is based on the GB version, the Game Boy Color version. So Johto. And that's really all that. Yeah, it's just based. You do the 8 Johto gyms, and then you do the Elite Four, and then you have the Champion Lance. So that's the order of the stages in this game. You might see me evening my stack at the beginning. I've actually gotten it to the point where I actually don't need to do that anymore, but it's just force of habit because I've done it for so long. So if you see me do that, it's not recommended that you do that for actual speedruns. You just go with whatever the board is instead of leveling it out, because leveling it out takes seconds off of your time, and you can save those seconds by not doing that. But here, I just level out a little bit, and then I go ahead and begin. So I've got a bit of a happy medium, and right there you saw that I still got that chain. That is not really something that should happen because it was a little late, but as long as you move a panel off of a corner and into a point where you can get a chain extension, that's a 2-frame window, and you can hit those pretty easily on this game. That was also a 2-frame window, I believe. I'm not quite sure how those work, but you can sometimes get those like that. Anyways, just gonna leave it there because that's gonna kill. 8 is a bit overkill, I think. I think a 7 and 4. 7 chain 4 combo would have been enough, but now we're getting into the last 2 fights. Him on top has substantially more HP than the others. Other opponents you fight on most difficulties. This difficulty is no exception. Yeah, he definitely has more HP. But there's also other things that you're going to notice happening is we're going to be doing, in later difficulties, we're going to be doing actual strats with garbage, because the amount of garbage you start receiving in the later difficulties is going to be so much so that you have no choice but to play off of the garbage. So that's actually something that is really, really fun to watch. If you've never seen somebody actually play off of the garbage they're given. Ooh, that was a nice... So what I did there is, that's a frame perfect move. There is frame perfect stuff you can do in this game, and I just did one frame perfect thing there. They're like nowhere close to easy to get. But you can just go and get stuff off like that if you're actually good enough at the game. But we're heading straight into hard. Hard has a weird, you may have noticed that each difficulty has progressively increased the rate at which the panels drop. This one just has a weird panel drop that just makes it really awkward to play, and that's the reason why hard is actually difficult to play. Because it just has a really weird panel drop rate, which is what you see after the, like, it's literally what you see after you clear something and then the panels are falling. That's what I mean by the panel drop speed. The drop speed in between difficulties does increase. And the increase here is just a really odd increase. But for this difficulty, we actually want to get as many combos in with the garbage, in with the chain as possible. And that should be good enough for an instant kill. So with these difficulties, with hard onwards, hard is going to start to become, you're not going to be able to instant kill opponents starting in the later stages of hard. Because you'll have to start getting like 12, 13, 14 combos, which are extremely hard to get. And it's just not worth trying to go for. But the name of this difficulty is just getting all of the chains that you can, long chains, like really, like as long as you can get. That's the general strategy for this difficulty. Is the longer it's just get long chains. Combos start to lose their effectiveness here. You still want to get combos, but only if you can mix it in with the chains that you're getting. That was very close to a death, and I have not died on hard in a very long time. Whenever you can, you want to avoid playing off of garbage in hard because that's slow. That's not going to be enough to kill. Yeah, just short. The other factor that is going to start coming into play on hard is healing. So, on hard, I don't know what triggers the healing on hard, but they have a chance to heal on hard mode, starting on hard mode, and then that chance goes up on the later goes up so that you start getting higher and higher chances of them healing as you go on. Anyways, that should be enough to kill. Yeah. But in this difficulty, if you leave them under like a quarter of their health for long enough, they will heal. And they can heal up to 20, I think they can heal up, I don't remember the exact number, but they can heal up to like 25-30% of their total HP. Which actually isn't that much in this difficulty, but in Intense, where they can heal a lot, that's just really, that's just where a lot of the time lost in that difficulty comes from, is, it just becomes an attrition match for, that difficulty. Thankfully, though, Intense is at the very end of the run, and that's really good, because if you had to do Intense at first, I would be like, no, I wouldn't want to run this category, because Intense is Intense. It's named Intense for a reason. But as you can see, the opponents are already starting to do a decent amount of garbage. They're going to start throwing even more garbage at you later on. Garbage is the blocks that you see me have to clear that drop on top of my stack every once in a while. Because every opponent you fight has a hidden power meter, and when that power meter goes up to the top, it goes up to 100%, that's when they attack. That should be good enough to kill. But as you can see, it's starting to take me more than one chain to kill. I believe right around here is where you start to need to do a 10 or 11 chain, and then when you get into Elite 4 is when you have to start doing a like 12, 13 chain. And then in Super Hard, it's just not even worth trying to go for an instant kill, because you'd have to do just such a high such a high chain that it's not worth it. This is actually a good setup to possibly get, that might not be an instant kill. It is an instant kill, nice. So that's literally, you literally have to get the best luck in order to get instant kills at this stage of the game. And even then I still had to do like a couple 4 combos in order to get that instant kill 100%. But in this difficulty, you really want to keep those chains going as long as possible. So whenever you see me drop the chain early, that's not good, because it's giving your opponent more chances to heal and otherwise screw with you. Another thing you might be noticing me doing is I'm raising my stack as often as possible. That's what you want to do in this game, is raise your stack. You want to be aggressive and play through and raise your stack at the beginning, and then do as much as you can with the panels you're given. But you want to hold back a little bit because you want to be able to get have a chance to actually defend against anything they throw at you. Again, this him on top is the opponent. I believe it's the opponent with the most health in this difficulty. If not, it's close. But that's enough for an instant kill. 12 chain. And so far, this has been a very good hard. I'm actually on PB pace right now. We're still on PB pace. I have to win the next fight in under 30 seconds in order for it to be PB. 31 seconds. Okay, well now it's going to be about 20 seconds I have. Let's see if we can do it. Nope, wasn't able to do it, but that was still a very good attempt. I am 2 minutes and 21 seconds ahead of my PB and the easy to intense difficulty right now. But that was an extraordinarily good hard. I was about, I want to say, 4 to 5 seconds short of my PB. No, it was more like 10 seconds, but it was still getting a 450, 440 something. Sorry, 940 something on that difficulty is still really good. So this is super hard, and this is where enemies are just going to start throwing the book at you in terms of garbage and stuff. And they have a lot more health than they did in the previous difficulty. They have... each of these opponents are starting to require more... a higher chain than... I think these ones require like a 12 chain 4 combo to... or 13 chain to beat. And then from there on it just goes up and up and up. So it's not worth trying to kill... instant kill with chains. Because you're not going to be able to do it. This is also where you're going to notice the healing. Because this is where healing is going to start to happen. And there are some weird properties of healing on this difficulty where they can heal like literally any time they want. It's kind of... Like, I've had them heal when they are not even close to 33 or 25% of their HP. I've had them actually heal when they were, like, 60% HP left, and they heal the full. And I'm like, I don't even know how that's even possible, because there's a flag that usually is set where... they have to be at a certain HP threshold in order to have them heal. And for some reason, they seem to ignore that in this difficulty for some reason. And I have none of us know why. But everyone's noticed it. Anyways, when you'll notice when they're about to heal when they don't do anything for a period of time. That'll be more noticeable and intense. On this difficulty, I don't really notice the pause in attack very much because the hidden power meter can be used to either attack or heal. It's used for one or the other. It's not used for both, so they can't attack and heal on the same power meter. Not quite enough to kill yet. Gonna have to play off the garbage a little bit to get a little more damage off. Might have had a heal there. I don't remember them having that much health left. But yeah, usually I'm able to notice when an opponent heals because I'm able to see it out of my peripheral vision because I don't actually pay attention to the health bar with like main focus on the health bar. My main focus is always on the game screen. So there's just sometimes that I'm able to notice it, and sometimes where I'm not. Let's see how much. Okay, I still have a. So starting around here, you want to make sure you don't overuse your panels, because you can easily use too many panels, and then you're not left with anything to defend with, or clear garbage that falls. And if you end up with less than 3 lines of panels at the bottom, and the opponent sends too much garbage, you can die from that. So that's something that we try to avoid at all costs in this particular instance. One thing I did want to mention is I do not have chat open. That's for a reason. I'm not going to be able to pay attention to chat during this run, so that's why I do not have chat open. So far, though, this super hard's been actually pretty good. We are just under 6 minutes in. And we're on stage 7, and that's how I know that I'm having a good super hard, is if the time spent on this difficulty is less than the amount of like the number of minutes is less than the amount of stages that I've completed, then I have had a good super hard to this point. So, whenever you're clearing panels, you're not able to raise your stack unless you have a specific mode on, which we do not, and that's called scroll on. We do not have that setting on because this is the scroll off category for this run. And I do not play scroll on because I just don't like that play mode, because it just seems like not a mode I want to play. But so far this super hard's been good, but it's starting to be average now that I finished the 7th stage at 7:10 in 7 minutes 10 seconds. So I'd have to clear this stage in less than a minute to have it start being good again. And while that is certainly possible, it's not likely, because these opponents start having so much health that, and start doing a lot of garbage that it just becomes impossible to have fast fights unless you know what you're doing. They also like to start spamming combos in this difficulty a lot, which just makes the fights drag on a little bit longer than I want to. There's a heal. It wasn't a big heal, but it was still a heal, which is going to elongate this fight a little bit. So, you may have noticed a steel block on my screen. Those are caused by the exclamation mark blocks, which you have also seen. Those are called shock blocks. Those count as a different kind of garbage, as opposed to the other garbage that you've seen on the screen. It's a different kind of garbage, so they clear separate from the other garbage. So here's the first actually difficult fight in this speedrun. Jinx on super hard is pretty difficult to deal with because she likes to spam combos a lot. I'll let you know what the other thing, what you may have just saw there. I'll talk about that a bit later when we get into intense mode, but what you saw there where I got the 2 and 3 chain back to back, those are called stagger chains. Like I said, I'll talk more about those in the next difficulty where they actually become relevant. Okay, let's raise and start getting ready for some other stuff. Yeah, you might see a little here, a little heal here as well. Oh, I was just able to get that chain. That's really nice. Okay, from here, I'm going to stop the combo, or the chain, and that should kill. So, starting here, knowing when to stop your chain is going to be paramount for your success in the next couple fights, as well as the next difficulty. Because the next difficulty will introduce a very annoying mechanic, which we will talk about when we get to that difficulty. A little bit too late there, or too early, I should say. There's another stagger chain that you saw there. That would have been another stagger chain if there wasn't that additional combo mixed in there. That should have been a stagger chain, but it wasn't. Okay, game. There's a heal, which prevented me from being able to kill that opponent at that point in time. But he should be going down right now. Yeah, and that fight alone cost me about a minute. A little less, about 45 seconds. But, him on top is a difficult fight on any difficulty. But now we're getting into Murkrow, who has the shortest power meter in the game. Murkrow is able to attack extremely quickly. Because the power meter that she has to fill is very, very small. But starting off with a nice 12 chain there is going to make this fight very quick. That should kill. Unless I get the 0 HP glitch. The zombie glitch. Nice game. So, this opponent is dead. But, not really. This happens every once in a while, and we have no idea what causes it, but it just makes the opponent pretty much immune to damage. And I have no idea what causes it. Nobody does. But this... Okay, good. That is extremely unlikely to happen, and we had it happen. And it seems to happen the most on hard. Or on hard or super hard. Those two difficulties seem to have it happen the most. It's just stupid, and there's no there's no way to actually prevent it from happening. It just happens when it wants to. But we're on to the final fight of this difficulty again. Dragonite will always be the final fight, start from this difficulty onwards. Or from hard onwards. And, yeah. So, that zombie HP glitch is uncommon, but when it happens, it's pretty bad. Because it costs a lot of time. But here, starting with the last fight, is when it starts to become impossible to keep up with the garbage, unless you're a really, really good player. And yeah, oh, he dropped 2 instead of 1. I was thinking he was only going to drop 1. A little bit too late to get the 3 chain in with that. But this is about what Intense is going to be like. Complete with healing and everything. That should kill, though. It did not. Of course it doesn't. And there's a heal there as well. So that's the most aggravating part of the game, is the healing. And you're going to see why in the next difficulty. The next difficulty is Intense. And starting off, all of the opponents cannot be instant killed. They all have so much HP that they cannot be instant killed. Unless you get like a 15, 16, 17 combo chain. Which is very unlikely to happen. So, as you can already see, they're starting off with a 10 chain. The opponent's starting off with a 10 chain. And that's how you know you're in this difficulty, when they start doing shenanigans like that. Here is where you're going to want to start to play off the garbage. And you're going to start seeing that right now. Because the garbage goes off the top of the screen, is going to stay off the top of the screen for pretty much the remainder of this fight. And now I'm starting to set up what are called stagger chains. So stagger chains are when you have, like, I can show it off a little. I can explain what it is better once I actually get one. But okay, so here, so that's the stagger chain. The 10 and 11 that happened at the same time. That's the stagger chain. But I was able to kill that fight right within a minute and 30, minute and change. I'm aiming for a minute per fight, but that's not always going to be the case in this difficulty. This difficulty, the amount of changes and the amount of healing will dictate how the fights will go. But in the beginning, I want to get a large chain, and then I want to start another chain immediately and have this one also be a very long chain. Depending upon the type of garbage that is dropped, of course. So right now, when they reach 33% of their health or less, they're able to start healing. And when they do nothing for a period of time, that is when they are going to heal. And when they heal, they can heal up to a third of their health, and they can heal twice in a row. Not to mention, they can heal as many times as they want in this difficulty. So we are now in heal range, and it looks like we're going to immediately get a heal. Because he is not attacking. There's a heal. So the way the fights are supposed to be done is you're supposed to get that initial chain and then do another chain that is extremely long. And that's literally how you get through the fights. You do two chains. One that's a 7 to 11 chain, and the second that's a 12 to 15 or 16 chain. And those two combined, along with some combos, is enough to kill the fight in two combos. It all depends upon what kind of chain garbage they give, because they have to give a very high amount of chain garbage in order for you to be able to pull that off. And as of right now, they are not. This Clefairy is giving me an exclamation mark, or just giving me exclamation mark blocks, or shock blocks, which I have to clear because otherwise it's going to be a problem. So now I'm just going to do small chains, just to whittle down the HP, and then I'm going to do the long chain. Probably going to start doing the long chain after this chain is done. So right now is when I'm going to start doing the long chain. In this difficulty, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Chain combos don't matter in this difficulty. Like, they don't matter at all. They deal so little damage. It's just not even worth doing combos. It's all about the chain in this difficulty and the last difficulty. Now it's a damage race to try and defeat this opponent before he heals. And unfortunately, I got the 0 HP glitch again. Which means they're guaranteed to get a heal off. And yeah, that's fun. And that's the second time this has happened, this speed run. But that was still really good. Ended up saving a lot of time on that fight. 2 minutes 41 seconds ahead of my PB. But we are still in the infancy of this of the intense speed run. So there's still quite a bit of time that I can lose. Starting off with a long chain, I see 7, 8, 9, 10. Was able to raise the stack a little bit before they kicked in. And from here is where I'm going to start to... I'm going to try and do a long chain. Got a stagger chain there. Got another one here. Set that up wrong. But got another chain there. Let's see. Another stagger there. So that's good enough to kill, and that's what you're supposed to do. That's what an intense speedrun fight looks like. Is you do 2 chains and you kill the fight. So that's literally as fast as an intense fight can go. So I'm actually pretty excited that I was able to show that off to you guys, because I am not consistent with those at all. So I was happy I was able to show that that strategy off to you. That's like how all the good players of this game do it. That was too high of a chain. So now I'm in a bit of trouble here. Because he is probably going to heal at some point. Probably now is when he's going to stop attacking and start... Yeah, he's going to heal. There's the heal. So you know when they're going to heal, when they just stop attacking. Another time they can heal is when they do a 3 chain. I still don't understand how that identifies how they when they're going to heal, but it does identify when they're going to heal, because they usually heal immediately afterwards. Here's another heal incoming. There's the heal. Raise. I also didn't know that they could do 8 chains. 8 chains are also really odd. They don't usually do 8 chains. They usually do 3 chains followed by a 4 combo, 4 chain followed by a 4 combo, 7 chain followed by a 4 combo, or 10 chain followed by a 4 combo. And then they can also do just a 3 chain. And usually it's... Okay, there's the death. That's fine. It happened like 7 seconds into the fight, so it's fine. So the reason why I died there is I ran out of stop time. Stop time is invisible time that you get to spend at the top of the stage with the stage completely full like this before you die. And that's usually a couple of seconds. But if you get a combo or a chain, in addition to what you're doing, like all the combos and chains I got are adding stop time to my stop time, and then they count down the stop time, and then they count down the death combo after that, or the death counter after that. So you can, a good player can literally stay at the top of the screen without dying for a very long time if they choose to. But you don't see that in the speedrun of this game because the opponents don't do that. This is going to be another death. That's fine. I'm just mismanaging panels here, so it's costing me a death or 2. Deaths in this game are inconsequential. All they do is lose you time, so it's... I mean, they're consequential, but they're not, because you're actually expected to die in this difficulty. Like, like, I don't know of anyone that... I know of only a handful of people that have been able to clear this on without using a single continue, and I've actually been lucky enough to have a zero continue fight, or a zero continue on this difficulty, and they're extremely difficult to get. Like, extremely. I've gotten one out of a couple of hundred of playthroughs of Intense. Probably, yeah, I'd say like 300 to 400 playthroughs of Intense, and I've been able to get a zero continue Intense once. It's hard to get a zero continue Intense, just because of all the shenanigans the opponents can do. While I was talking about that, this opponent has healed on me twice already. There's a nice stagger chain into 6 chain, which is enough to kill. So unfortunately, those 2 deaths cost me 2 minutes on that fight, but we're still about a minute 40 ahead of PB pace. I'm not going to say we're on PB pace because there's still a lot of stages left to play. But every single fight from here on out is just gonna start throwing more and more and more at you. And once we get to like the last few stages, they're just gonna start throwing everything at you. Like, your screen is gonna be full of garbage the entire fight. And here is where I stop even trying to get any good chance of doing long chains, and I just try and blitz them down as quickly as possible with damage. And this strategy can backfire. It has a high chance of backfiring, but I do go for it, and most of the time it ends up working out. Still attacking, so was able to kill him. Unfortunately, that fight was too long. I lost another 45 seconds to that fight, so this is looking like it might not PB, but I am going to keep trying to PB off this. Even though it's going to be very unlikely that I PB off this. Yeah. I think it's gonna be pretty unlikely. Just need a little bit more damage. Come on, game. Work with me. Up healed. So I have to do more damage. And that's what makes this difficulty difficult to deal with, is just the amount of healing that the enemies are able to do. Because they can literally heal like half their health. There's a heal. There's the Stagger Chain. I tried to get another chain off of the Stagger Chain, but it wasn't able to. 2-frame trick to do that. There's another heal. There's another Stagger Chain. And there's all the garbage that was stacked up. There we go. So now we're in the red. We're about 40 seconds behind my PB now. So I have to get really good luck on the next 5 fights in order to actually beat my PB. Ooh, got that. Nice. You get to hear more of Jinx's cry, which I still consider to be the worst sound in video game history. And a lot of people ask me how I'm able to handle it. I just don't notice it. That's how I'm able to handle it. I literally have gotten numb to it because I've heard it so much. There's a nice 3-stagger combo into another chain, and to another chain. So looks like the blitz option is what we're going to be doing here. There's a heal. There's going to be another heal, probably. Yep, there's the heal. Stagger chain there. Another stagger chain here. There's all the built-up garbage that was prevented from being sent. So these really do become battles of attrition once you get to around this stage. They can, if you don't do the strats right. That should kill if I just let it drop now. There. Unfortunately, not going to PB. Too far behind now. 2 minutes behind. I'd have to get insanely good luck on the last 4 fights in order for me to PB at this point. It's possible, but very unlikely. Because it would require quite a bit of cooperation from the enemies, and the enemies are known for not cooperating and killing your PBs whenever they want to. Just getting pelted with combos now, which is not what you want to see because this doesn't give you much in the way of stuff to be able to chain off of. It just gives you a bunch of literal crap to deal with. I mean, you can get some chains off of it, but it's just not enough. It's not enough blocks to deal with the amount of garbage that you have to deal with. He's still attacking, which means I can kill. Good. So I did claw back about 36 seconds off of that fight. But I have less than 4 minutes to finish 3 fights. And I'd have to get perfect. This fight is the fight with the most HP in the game. He has the most HP in the game by far. I don't even know what the stats are in terms of how much HP he has compared to other fights, but he has a lot. And it's, of course, this is the fighting Pokemon. Of course, the fighting Pokemon has to have a lot of HP, right? Just going about my business, setting up chains, combos, and everything. Probably not going to be able to kill him outright with the current setup, so I'm probably going to have to blitz him down, unfortunately, which is very difficult to deal with, very difficult to do. Yeah, I'm gonna have to blitz him down now that he's in HP heal range. Probably a 7 or 8 chain is what I'm gonna need here. And he's probably gonna heal before I'm gonna be able to get that entire chain off. He hasn't healed yet. Unless I missed the heal, but I haven't seen the heal. Come on, game. Got him. That's very good. Because he's known. I know him as the equalizer. He can equalize this and turn it into a really bad. You can have a really bad time against him. Now we are up against the trolliest fight in the game because this fight can literally heal. Remember, Murkrow can attack the fastest, which means that Murkrow can heal the fastest. And there's what you can see, his fast attack, the fast attacking speed of this opponent. Mess that chain up, that's fine. Gonna have to blitz them down. That's not easy to do on this difficulty, on this fight in particular. There's the heal, by the way. The first of many heals, probably. We have, yeah, we're gonna pass my PB very soon. Stop. Dead. PB passed. And now. So no PB this run. We'll still be close to the PB though, if this fight goes well. So Dragonite is kind of a mixture between Hitmontop and Murkrow. He can attack pretty quickly and also has a lot of HP. So he's pretty difficult, but not as difficult as the last couple fights. Time is going to be very soon. I'll let you know when time is. Just be ready to press the time button very quickly. There's another heal. Probably another heal here. There's another heal. There's another heal, right as I was about to say time, but it's not time. Because he's still alive. Time. Alright. That was really, really good. Really good time.
Yeah, 1:08:31.44 is what I got on my end, and that's quite close to what you got as well, which is quite incredible.
Yeah, I got, mine was 1:08:31.26, so very close. Yeah. Overall, yeah, overall, I actually had two. My normal split was was about 7 minutes 31 seconds, which is about 40 seconds behind my PB, and my hard split was 10 seconds behind my PB. The other ones were pretty, and then my intense was about 3 minutes behind my PB. So, but overall, yeah, I'm really surprised with how good of a run this was, because the 115 estimate was not for like it. This game has just so much RNG that it can literally. I've literally got in a range of like a 150. This was back before I got my back when my PV was like a 115. I gave a 130 estimate, and I still managed to go over in 2 or 3 marathon runs by 30 minutes each.
Jesus.
I mean, that just goes to show. And then my sum of best compared to that's another thing you can do. 105.38 compared to a 48.28 sum of best.
Exactly,
That's another way you can tell a game that has a lot of RNG. So now I'm just gonna go straight into the bonus run.
I'm afraid we're going to have to cancel that for now because we're way over schedule and I have to go.
Okay.
But if you have time tomorrow after the final run,
Yeah.
the final run, it ends about where it would have been halfway through your run today.
So around
4:41.
Around 10:30 then.
Yeah, about that time. So if you just check on the schedule,
Yeah,
or you can do it then instead if you want. If that's okay with you.
the run that I'm about to do is like 6 minutes, but
yeah, but I'm
it's fine. No worries.
I have to cut it short now. I'm afraid.
No worries.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll go ahead, and thanks for watching. If you want to learn this run, hit me up on Discord. You can find me on InstaSpeedathon Discord. You can find me on Puzzle General Discord. razorflame #0016. You can DM me. The speedrun.com page is. I actually don't know what the speedrun.com page is, but just search Pokemon Puzzle Challenge, and there's some stuff over there you can use to learn how to play this game. I would try and play one of these games casually first, and if you like it enough, go into speedrunning, because this this speedrun is not for everyone, especially the harder difficulties. It's not for everyone. So if you want to learn, just PM me. Otherwise, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go so that you can go do what you need to do, Sim. So thanks for having me, and good luck to the rest of the runners.
No problem. Thank you very much for taking part.
Yep.
I will be just putting over to the speed interval, and then we'll end the stream. So thank you very much.
Yep.
So everybody, that's it for today on InstaSpeedathon LevelUp 2020. We'll be back tomorrow around about the same time again, about 10 o'clock in the morning, for more runs throughout the day. We're going to have to cut the stream now, I'm afraid, so thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you tomorrow.